If you were given one wish, and that was to look back at all your past and never look back at them again, would you take the opportunity? Now, a lot of people, some people will and some people won't, but the majority of people would actually not take that opportunity. As looking back in their pasts, it can dwell on them and it can affect them in so many different types of ways. Hence why a lot of people are still in the same position that they are today because they let the past dictate their next move rather than planning for the future. Now, I wanted to come on here today and talk about the past, how it's been such a negative tool for quite some time and how it's really been stopping us on reaching our full potential. So today, join me today as I'm going to be providing some tips and techniques on being able to let go from the past, saying goodbye to it, and saying hello to the future. Now, in order for you to let go of the past, you guys first want to be able to understand what self-transformation is. Now, if you guys don't know what self-transformation is, it's basically making the intentional changes of, your behaviors, your attitudes, and overall your mindset. But the way I see it is, to simplify into better terms, it's more about getting 1% better every day. Now, you can go about this in so many different ways, whether it's, waking up on time on your alarm compared to yesterday. Let's say that you didn't, you end up sleeping in and, getting 10 minutes of extra sleep, or whether it's going out for a walk for 30 minutes rather than yesterday where you went out and only walked for 10 minutes. These small changes gradually build up and actually create more of a snowball effect in order for your self-development to be more enhanced. And for me, I would say this is more of like an alternative way on being able to make better strides for yourself. But I feel like when it comes to self-transformation, some people especially on social media get discouraged by it because there are so many different types of misconceptions when it comes to this. And I want to talk about real quick about some of the misconceptions, how they're false. And the first one is being that, when it comes to self-transformation, it's about, eliminating the pain and suffering. Now, I don't see that as a way as for you to just be able to dwell on it. I see it as a way for you to kind of grow from it. Now, looking at your pain and suffering, of course, we've all been through, bad times in our lives, but being able to acknowledge it and accept it and move on from it and seeing how can we do better to not make the same mistake twice, that's what's more important. It's about making sure that, you understand that, the experiences that you actually been through actually are going to dictate your next decision rather than just, dwelling on it and thinking about, so many different what ifs moments. Accept it and take into account and see how can you move forward from it. Next, a common misconception that people think about is that, when it comes to self-improvement, it's about being able to find a grand life purpose or prize. Now, this doesn't have to be like that. Like I said, with the whole 1% method, you don't have to, make these big goals for yourself and set them out because it's just going to create, stress and overwhelm yourself. So you want to be able to make these small strides for yourself. Having a daily task sheet of being able to accomplish what you got going on for the day, that's just right there what's going to help you out and being able to, improve yourself overall. So definitely don't overwhelm yourself by being able to think that, because, you're on this self-improvement journey now, that you got to be able to actually make these big and, spontaneous goals when in reality you don't. And lastly, a lot of people get the common misconception that it's going to happen overnight, which is not true. Of course, nothing happens overnight. It's about, this is where consistency and discipline come into play. And this is making sure that, you are actually holding yourself accountable and making sure that you put in the work every day and making sure that, of course, every day is not guaranteed. Every day is not going to be a good day, what I mean. But being able to actually end the day high with your head high and your shoulders on top, that's what's important. It's about making sure that you understand that every day is not going to be guaranteed and that you got to make sure that, at the end of it, you look back at it and we're actually excited on how things went. When you're trying to move on from the past, but you can't, the most common reason why people can is because of three things. One of them, the first being, is relationships. Now, this can go in so many ways, whether you just gotten out of a relationship or whether you were in the talking phase, so you were trying to pursue a relationship, but then things didn't go as planned, and then now you're back to square one, and then all of these scenarios, it makes you think the what if scenario. What if I had done this better, then maybe we could have lasted longer, or, if I should have done that, then, maybe we could have been in a better position right now, and then we still would have been talking. It creates all these different types of what if scenarios, and in reality, the way I see it as is like things obviously weren't meant to be. And as much as as corny as it is, I believe it's true. Obviously things weren't meant to be, and if things were actually possible and things were meant to be, then you still would have been in the same position right now. But because you're not, and you're back to square one, or you're back to being single, that's okay. Clearly that wasn't the right person. Clearly, things obviously are going to be better. You just have to believe and overall just think more better rather than just think about all the negatives towards it. mistakes or regrets. Now, when it comes to this, a lot of people, tend to dwell on this for quite some time, whether that's, you resent someone or whether you're holding a grudge for someone. But the way I see this is basically you're just adding more fuel to the fire because you're not being transparent with them. You're not letting them know how you feel. You're not being able to share, whatever they did, what their actions were or whatever they said. It made you feel in some type of way. And in reality, they're kind of winning because every time you see that person it's like you can only think about that grudge or the resentment that you hold against them, and sometimes they might not even know it, you know what I mean? So I feel like being able to start on a clean slate by talking to them and let them know how you feel on the actions or words that they mentioned before. It's gonna make you feel more honest, and it's gonna make you feel better about yourself because it's like you shared your own opinion, you shared your thoughts, and you shared overall how you feel. So rather than just having them get away with whatever they're doing, be honest with them. Definitely, I would say honesty. Sometimes it does pay off, and it's obviously can be used in ways for you to be able to make a clean state. But you got to be able to make the effort in order for you to actually come to that point. And the last common challenge that people tend to normally face is when it comes to events that happen that were undisturbing or that were unforeseen. Now this can go into many different types of ways. When it comes to upsetting or disturbing, it could be losing your job, or it could be losing a friendship. I know when it comes to losing your job, a lot of people are gonna play the it card, like why is it me, or why did this happen to me? And in reality it's not even you. Sometimes it's not even you. As much as work you put in, sometimes the boss, obviously didn't acknowledge it enough and he didn't appreciate your time or your willingness. So guess what? You have to shift avenues. You have to, that's just one door that closed, but another door is going to open eventually. You just have to be patient. Or, when it comes to losing your friendship, maybe that person, for you to connect, it was hard. You had a lot of things going on at your life right now, and he did too, or they did too. But I mean, and it could have been hard for you guys to try to connect, but I feel like sometimes if you really wanted the friendship to work out, you definitely could have reached out to them and just let them know and check in and see how they're doing. It doesn't have to be hanging out with them every weekend. It can literally just be a simple message, saying hey, how are you doing? But obviously things happen for a reason, and it's like when it comes to losing a friendship, it obviously it could have been a seasonal friendship. And what I mean by that is maybe they could have just been that part of your life for a moment, when you needed them or when they needed you. But as people change, and as everything starts changing in your life, obviously you know maybe they're not right, maybe they're not there for that reason, because they got another separate thing going on with their lives, and it's like it doesn't fit with your life or where you're trying to head out to. So it's like you know why have them there, but overall those are the common reasons why a lot of people face when it comes to trying to let go of the past. So now it's time to provide some tips and tricks on how you guys can be able to start building growth and self-improvement. Now, what you first want to do is you guys want to be able to build healthy relationships. Now, we cannot all be isolated, for the rest of our lives. At some point, we got to be able to actually join the community and being able to talk to people. So when it comes to this, you want to be able to create the right relationships. And what that means is that, all of us are insignificant in some type of way where we have the ability to be able to create a product of the relationships that we've been able to encounter throughout our lives. Now, it's important that you keep close to the friends that are the best for you, and eliminate or slowly decrease from the ones that are trying to pull you down. Having less but valuable friends can really help you on being able to learn and being able to develop your personality, and can really help you on becoming the person that you truly want to admire. Next, what you want to do is you want to be able to challenge yourself. So for me, what I've been able to do to being able to challenge myself. So when I wake up, I immediately wake up and go and make my bed. Now for this, the reason why I do this is because I don't want to have the decision on whether or not if I should go back to bed or not. I like to go ahead and start my day. So for me, being able to make my bed just kind of gives me like no excuse for being able to go back to bed and being able to sleep longer. Second thing is, I like to go to the gym in the mornings. So when I go to the gym in the mornings, what I'll do is I'll plan the night before of what I'm gonna wear the next morning. That way I don't have the decision on whether or not if I'm gonna go to the gym or not. Since I already have the clothes out, it's a non-negotiable. I might as well just go ahead and hit the gym. So those are a couple of ways on how I've been able to challenge myself. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. And you guys let me know if there's any other ways on how I should be able to challenge myself. Or let me know if there's any other ways on where you guys have been able to challenge yourself. Next, what you want to do is you want to be able to cultivate a growth mindset. Now, when it comes to this, a lot of people look at failure and they think that failure is the only way on, being able to get the results. But in reality, that's not the case. When it comes to failure, it's about actually taking it as a learning opportunity. It's about being able to reframe the failure as a natural part of the learning process and taking the opportunity as a way for growth and improvement, rather than just looking at failure as a way of a reflection of your abilities. Why not looking at it on a more positive way by being able to see on how can you be able to reflect on it by being able to seek the feedback. That way you don't make the same mistake twice. Value persistence and effort. Now you want to be able to understand and acknowledge that it's important that effort, persistence, and resilience are all a part about being able to achieve success in the future. You want to be able to understand that mastery and achievement require consistent effort over time, and that setbacks and challenges are just part of the journey. Embrace feedback. Now, when it comes to this, you want to be able to take feedback and use it as a way, as a guidance tool. You want to be able to understand that welcoming feedback is an opportunity for you to be able to grow and improve yourself. Being able to seek out constructive feedback from others can help you out in being able to identify areas where you can be able to develop and refine your flaws. That you want to be able to take the feedback that you have and received and be able to understand that the person that you were yesterday is the person that you are today, but the person that you are today is not going to be the person that you're going to be tomorrow. Take that into account. Next time that you decide to make these conscious decisions, remember this. Feedback is obviously something that's an important and guidance tool that we got to be able to understand that when it comes to feedback, it's obviously going to help us out in so many ways for us to being able to acknowledge the mistakes that we made and being able to move on into the future. Create powerful habits. Now, when it comes to this, it really it's up to you on how, what your day to day looks like. But take the time and just, being able to incorporate at least 20 or 30 minutes for yourself is definitely important. That whether that's going out for a walk or whether that's, exercising for 30 minutes or journaling as well. It's really up to you. You want to be able to find these types of habits where you look forward to, because, at the end of the day, it's about, being able to achieve greater success for you. So take the time, find some great habits where you can be able to actually implement in your daily routine. And actually, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm actually curious and I read all my comments. So, let me know what you guys have, put into your daily routine. I'm actually curious. Focus on positivity. I feel like, positivity right now has been left in the shadows, with a lot of things going on, whether it's social media, whether it's the news. A lot of people forget to, actually being able to savor in the moment, actually enjoy it. I feel like, when it comes to positivity, not really many people are really thinking about it right now just because of, what's going on. But if you are one of those few people that actually, do enjoy the moment, that's fine, perfectly. I'm glad. You know what I mean? But, for the rest of the people, I want you guys to be able to acknowledge positivity and being able to take the time to savor and fully experience the moments of joy, beauty, and contentment in your daily life. That could be anything, whether it's going out for a meal, whether it's, hanging out with some friends or, being in nature. But, being able to acknowledge the presence and appreciate the simplest pleasures that brings happiness and fulfillment, it's important to acknowledge it and being able to remember those moments. Now, a quote that really stood out to me was from a podcast, but it basically went like, if today was your last day on earth and you look back on how you spent your day, was it worth it? Were you able to accomplish what you set out to achieve for today? Now, this really hit me because I thought about it for a minute and it really made me think about, at the end of the day, am I actually accomplishing what I'm doing? Am I being able to, accomplish what I set out to do for today? And it's like, of course, time is limited, as much as time, tries to be on our side, it's really not, just because, we have so much time in each and every day. And I feel like overall it really puts us accountable towards making sure that we hold ourselves to a higher and higher extent and not treating every day as a Friday, rather treating every day as a Monday. So I feel like being able to acknowledge each day, looking at it at the end and seeing was it really worth your day today? Did you actually accomplish what you set out to do? So definitely that quote stood out to me and it really like made me understand that I gotta treat every day as a Monday, like I said, and being able to, acknowledge that every day is not going to be perfect where, I'm going to be able to set out what I want to achieve because, things can happen. That's just, how life is. But being able to finish strong, that's what's important. It's being able to make sure that I keep my head high, whether it's, it's a good day or a bad day. Thank you guys for staying tuned in today's video. I really do appreciate it. I feel like overall I had to come on here and just talk about this because this was definitely something that, I've been seeing lately. And, I feel like, the past is the past. the future is something that we can actually control, and it's something that we can actually plan ahead. And being able to, take the actions that we have today and being able to use the resources, it creates more of a higher chance of being able to achieve on what we set out to be in the future. So, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I read all my comments, and stay tuned to the next video. Thank you guys.